Hello and welcome to the SLC Game of the Week live on the Lacrosse Network. I'm Chris Marshall here with Easton Lacrosse's Henry Fitzpatrick, and we are in for a treat tonight at Ernie Chapman Stadium, senior night for the home Panthers, as they send 4 seniors off into the rest of their seasons. But pretty exciting matchup here. We got the number 4 in the country, Chapman Panthers, taking on the number 6 Gauchos. Both teams have had pretty similar records thus far in the season, both losing to Colorado State in Fort Collins by 1 in overtime. So definitely some good games coming from both these teams earlier in the season. Of late, Chapman has really owned these guys in the matchups, going 6-1 in the last 7, including 6 in a row. In fact, the last time the Gauchos beat the Panthers, it was a game that I played in. If that's any indication of how long it's been. So what are some of the keys to the game or players to watch?
A couple guys that we're going to highlight right here for Chapman. We have Timmy Andrews, number 4, and he's your traditional attackman playing at X. And you can see from his stats, 23 goals, 23 assists. He's a balanced playmaker, so they're going to look to get the ball to him. He'll push it upfield, look to score, or if not, he can. Obviously, he has the ability to dish it off to someone who can finish. For Santa Barbara, we have C.J. Jacobs, midfielder for them. You can see his stats: 26 goals, 10 assists. So he's one of their bigger goal scorers. He will dish the ball a little, but heavy on the goals. So 2 guys to keep your eyes on tonight. And just a key in a big division rival, obviously, is to see who's going to be able to finish their opportunities. Shots will be created, but when you get in these games, you really got to finish and put the ball and hit net.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that we've. These teams are both seem to be pretty evenly matched. Like I mentioned before, Chapman 12-4, UCSB 11-4, both 5-0 in conference, and Chapman having the edge of late in the matchup against each other. But pretty similar stat line for both offensively and defensively. And I have to think that this is just about as evenly matched as these teams have been since 2007. And you're definitely going to see both of the more balanced offense. I know that quite a few seniors graduated from both these teams from last season, and a lot of those players, the Andrew Claytons, Aaron Hemian, and some of the other players that they lost were big-time scorers for their teams. And both of these teams have had to play a more team-oriented game, take a little bit of the air out of the ball, and it's you can definitely see the structure of both Coach Hartley and Coach Allen coming into play. It looks like we're just about ready to get underway here. Some of the starters for Chapman looks like Nickelman, Knowles, and Simo. Going to listen to the coin flip here.
Hey fellas, I got out my Lady Liberty today. It's got the heads and the tails, right? Heads and tails. Lady Liberty, heads and tails. What do you say? Tails. He said tails. I've been working on my high toss. If we drop, I'll do it again. You can see it's the tail. What do you want? AP? Guys, a goal to defend, please. All right, backs and backs. Blue, you got first AP. Hey fellas, we know what this is for, so have a fun one. Good luck.
Definitely an interesting choice from Chapman, opting to defend the goal on the left side of the field. I know you can see a little bit of the sun in the background of the shot right now, but there's still a little bit of the sunlight coming over the top of the stands, right into the cage. So we'll have to see if that plays a factor. I mean, it won't be for very long, but goals are going to be at a premium for both these teams, and very important. Like I mentioned before, this is the final league game for both of these teams before the SLC tournament in 2 weeks in San Diego, and the winner of this game will go in as the SLC North number 1 seed, get a bye into the playoffs, and the second team will have to play what looks to be the number 3 team in the SLC South, which looks like it might be Grand Canyon, who just came off a huge victory in at home against Arizona State. I know I was talking to beat writer for Arizona State, Trey Lanthier, about that game, and OT game. You look at the way Grand Canyon has been playing. They've been hanging tough with a lot of really good competition. I know that I thought that their schedule was a little ambitious for this season, making the jump from Division 2 to Division 1, but they look great.
Yeah, talking to the coaches here before the game, they said they've been able to sneak up on a few people, but obviously capable to beat anyone in the conference, as they've proven.
And there's Perala winning the face-off. Timmy Andrews almost able to get it, and Hap Knowles is just a vacuum cleaner on the ground balls, taking off right where Walrath left off. And Andrews, again, one of the players to watch for Chapman. Very balanced on the offensive side. Let's see which Coach Hartley's going to go with to start the game. It's like he may be going with the second line of midfielders. Interesting choice. I know that there's a lot of depth for the Panthers, and there isn't a whole lot of drop-off. I know with senior captain Sammy Simo on the second line. It's Caressel over to Williams. Back to Caressel. Gets around the corner, takes the shot, and big-time save by Carlson. And another change for the Gauchos this season is going back to the one goalie system. I know Noto last year split time with Carlson in the cage, but isn't back this season. So definitely a little bit of a change for him, playing full games. And be on the lookout for Johnny Morgan. It's number 44. He's the top scorer in points per game for the Gauchos, and he is very crafty. He's the kind of guy that can get you moving one direction and cut back very quickly. And he's also one of those guys who scores a bunch of garbage goals. He's always in the mix, it seems like. And there's solid defense from Williams.
Nice
Able to keep the ball on his stick is Walsh. Morgan coming around. It's a quick double by Chapman. And again, the Gauchos looking pretty comfortable in their offense. It's Jacobs. Takes the shot and rips it. What a goal! Top shelf, stick side, that one on Nielsen. You don't see him get beat stick side that often. What a play. Unassisted goal, C.J. Jacobs.
Yeah, there he is, just like we talked about. That's what he wants to do. Come down the alley on the right side and rips it top left corner, high to high. You see right off the bat, Chapman come down with first possession. They get a decent shot, but the goalie makes a save, and now Santa Barbara comes down, gets a better shot, and he buries it for a 1-0 lead.
And that's why he's the senior captain and the player to watch for the Gauchos. He's a real game breaker.
Yeah, they're going to look to him, and obviously when they need to get a goal, he's going to be their first option.
And there's Herman picking up the ground ball for the Panthers and getting the ball back on the offensive side. Another player to watch for the Panthers is Ryan Helmich. He's definitely the beneficiary of a lot of those 23 assists coming from Andrews. He scored a couple of those low to high elevator shots that are legendary around here. So Walsh back to Andrews. 12:30 to go in the first quarter. 1-0 lead for UCSB. It's Rafter. Cuts inside. There's the shot, and another big save by Carlson. Probably not the best shot they wanted to take there, coming from Zervis.
Yeah, he generated a good look, but he went low to low with the shot, kind of skipped it early. The goalie picked it up real easily, so not a bad generated shot, but the execution wasn't great.
And again, the Gauchos getting their offensive unit back onto the field, doing a good job of subbing. Chapman able to get their players in through the midline and make sure there aren't any mismatches coming onto the field out of the sub box. It's Buca back down to Morgan. I know Buca is another one of the players coming off a big season last season. Just coming around the corner, takes the shot and sneaks that one in near side. That's a fantastic shot. That coming from Kevin Bowles, the senior attackman, for his 21st on the season.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion there for the Chapman defense. Guy coming, driving up GLE from X, and he's not dangerous behind the net, but once he approaches GLE, someone's got to slide to him, and no one came to him, and he got up there, took one step, and buried it near side on the pipe. But someone's got to step up there, stop the attacker. That guy became a threat quickly.
There's Driver able to win the ball back to Herman again. Here comes Croteau, and he is a monster. A lot of pace moves it down to Welch. 11.5 to go in the first. UCSB up 2-0. Chapman generally not a slow starting team. In almost all of the games this season, including all of their losses, they were up late in the fourth. So Chapman in a position they're not used to being in, down 2-0 with 11 to go in the first quarter. There's Andrews up to Simo. And again, Chapman subbing through the midline, trying to get a little bit of an advantage there, but UCSB able to match feet. It's Gressel back up to Simo. And down to Welch. I know Coach Hartley has been running a four-man attack unit, cycling through some of those guys. So definitely some depth at the attack position. Here's Simo coming across. Huge skip pass. And there's Gressel. Heard the footsteps coming and unable to corral that ball. But it's going to be a hold, and see if Andrews can take advantage of the quick whistle. Moves it to Simo, top right. And back over to Williams. Williams, another one of those big kids who can create a shot using his size and scores the goal, stick side off the hip, and that's a great shot. You could tell Conrad got a little bit jammed on it. He's been playing well so far, but that one sneaks right in off his hip. And a fantastic shot from Williams, really using his size to advantage on that dodge.
Yeah, that was a nice shot. He was actually running his angle away, but he got it off, and a nice shot, got up on one leg and put that thing low corner on the left side, and good placement on the shot as he was running his angle away, but he was able to sneak it in there.
And there's Hap Knowles on the big hit after the ground ball picked up by Perella. And as always, it's another reminder to go ahead and send us tweets, questions, comments, anything you got to @CMarshallTLN for me, and also to @Easton_lacrosse. So tell us about all of your questions, comments, anything you want to know about the game, the players, or about us personally. Fire away.
Interesting 4-0 for the faceoffs early here for Chapman.
Yeah, that's definitely something that Coach Hartley really works hard with his kids on. I mean, they want to be the team out there who wins the ground ball war every game. And it's those kind of fundamental plays that win games for you, especially late. There's Welch with the spin and great help defense coming from the Gauchos.
Nice look.
There's Andrews, takes a shot and rips it top shelf, off stick. What a finish by Andrews.
Yeah, that was a great look by Matt Welch, driving up the left side, looked back to his right, and he found Timmy Andrews there who buried it high to high. Great looking play, though, from Chapman.
Well, and when he's in that close, there's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, he's got the jump shot. He's coming high to high, off stick. I mean, you've got to make a reaction. You can't even think about saving that one. You just have to make the save. But Conrad Carlson playing a good game so far, but there's not a whole lot you can do about that up close. Here's Driver going into the fast break. Can't quite get the ball down. There's good help defense from the Gauchos. This ground ball picked up. That's Nevitt. And able to fight through the ride. Moves the ball. A body coming up. It's Buca. It looked like a little bit of an unsettled situation, but able to get their players in and not go to the cage there. And I think that's a real heads-up play as Bowles has the ball. It's Tilbury. Back to Morgan. 8:45 to go in the first quarter. And really taking their time. I expect to see quite a few of the stall warning calls and the shot clock come out. Both of these teams are real systematic offensive teams and look to get the defenses moving. And that's a great trail check from the Chapman defender as the ball's going to go. Looks like they called a shot. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, questionable, because they ran a little mumbo screen and he had a guy open on the wing, but it was a good play by the defense.
Buca coming in, beats his man, opts to move it. It's Morgan looking back inside. Great look to Jacobs again with the goal. High to high, off stick. He's got that lefty in Warren Nielsen, and he just buries it. And that's a great goal, his second of the game.
Yeah, another nice rip. Looks like he went offside hip that time from about 12 to 14 yards, and Chapman's going to need to mark up on him for the rest of the game because he's feeling it early. And if a couple go for a shooter like that early in the game, he's going to be looking to get his shot the rest of the night.
Well, especially that look for Jacobs. If he can go to the top left side, I mean, that's such a natural angle for a righty to take that it's going to be hard for Nielsen to get across his body being a lefty goalie.
He can start getting him guessing too. He's gone off six twice now, so he might look to come back to the right side next.
Here's Morgan, and Levesque working on Morgan. He's the #1 defenseman for the Panthers, the Ohio State transfer. Jacobs looks like they've got the pull on Jacobs, Hap Knowles. And it looked like they were running a little bit of a zone there, but Hap Knowles coming with him. And almost shutting him off. It looks like they might be running a 5-man zone. Knowles dropping back in. It's Walsh. Likes the matchup. Solid defense. Moves to Morgan. Morgan back up. It's Buca. Trying to get around the corner. More solid individual defense coming from the Panthers. The Gauchos doing everything they can to try and get a look. It's like they want the matchup here. Blake Samuel has a shorty. If he caught that a little cleaner, might have had a shot at the look, and there's a nice check coming from Nickelman. And Hap Knowles way out as Jacobs doing it all over the field, picks up the ground ball. 6:44 to go in the first. Coming around the corner is Buca, takes the shot, huge save. A nice pickup by Levesque, loses the handle, great ride, but able to get his stick in there. Ground ball by Laviola, bringing the ball up the field, and he's got a world of speed. Back up to Andrews. Andrews opts to pull it out and slow it down. And again, a bit of a change from the Chapman teams we're used to seeing over the last couple years, where they have big scorers like Andrew Clayton and Connor Martin coming through that want to go straight to the cage. I know that Chapman team in 2009 averaged just a shade under 20 goals a game.
That's a lot of offense.
That's the way they played their game. I know at practice they ran games to 1. But definitely a very different vibe coming from both of these teams. And a lot of solid coaching on both sides, a lot of big experience. There's Helmich, gets free. Looking back inside. Bamboo Forest there for the Gauchos. Ball picked up. It's Mainthau. And back to Carlson. 5:30 to go in the first. And this game is exactly as billed. Both these teams came to play tonight. And a beautiful night in Orange, California on the campus of Chapman University at Ernie Chapman Stadium. Just under 75 degrees at game time, and you can't ask for any better weather. And it looks like Johnny Morgan just couldn't quite get under that one. Wanted to move his feet before getting the pass, and there's Helmich, gets the ball from Levesque. 5 minutes to go. Welch down to Andrews. Back up to Ancarlo. Ancarlo pretty quiet so far tonight, but the leading goal scorer for the Panthers with 35 on the season. Here's Rafter. To Zervis. Nice help defense coming from the Gauchos. It's Rafter looking for the matchup. Finds Welch. Welch has the shorty by his man. Takes the shot. Huge save by Carlson. And Carlson really bailed out his defender there, because you need to score that goal if you're Welch. Rafter gets free. Quick double. Moves it to Welch. Chapman moving the ball very well right now. But the Gauchos able to keep up. Here's Helmich, has the shorty. Gets his hands free, and you do not want to see that if you're Conrad Carlson. But that one over the top, as Chapman will keep possession with 4 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the first quarter.
A couple good takes by Chapman there. They're creating offense off their dodge and secondary dodges, so it's a good job by them looking for lanes to go.
Look inside for Zervis. Pretty ambitious pass, but I didn't see what the call was there.
Yeah, that's one of those passes that'll get your coach screaming at you from the sideline, and you might get called over there to a little just wasn't there. He saw it and it got closed down way too quickly.
And that's the thing. The Gauchos have been playing fantastic defense so far, both on ball and off ball. Their help defense has been really good. And you just can't squeeze that ball in there. You have to get them rotating and keep that ball moving. There's this one thing I know about a Mike Allen coach team. They're going to be disciplined. And this team definitely is.
Yeah, I like the way Santa Barbara is spreading out the Chapman defense. They're taking time to get into their set. They've been going into a 2-3-1. But they're creating a lot of space for their Dodgers, and their motion offense is moving well.
And there's Jacob. Helmich working on Jacobs. An interesting matchup choice. Looks like Chapman in his zone again. And there's Helmich looking for the ball over the top. Looks like he's going to be able to run it down. Gets it to himself. See if he can keep it in. Just misses it, and the ball's going to go back to the Gauchos. We'll see if they can take advantage of the quick whistle. Looks like there's going to be a timeout on the field with 2:48 to go in the first, and the Gauchos on top, 3-2. And what have you been seeing out there from the Gauchos on both offense and defense that makes you think that they can win this game?
Well, they look strong, and for they've both ways. We've had a few unforced turnovers here in the last couple of minutes, but for the most part, they're looking pretty strong. You know, they come in here. Chapman's the home team. It's a division rival. It's a rivalry game. Teams are going to be looking for momentum. They came in and they scored the first 2 goals. Chapman's come back UCSB has a 3-2 lead, but they were able to get on top of them. Their offense looks composed, and their defense looks like they're pressing it in, and they're going to make some shooters beat their goalie. So they just look strong, and obviously, they haven't beat this team in a little while, and they're going to be fired up to try and come in here and do it.
Definitely, and Coach Allen is telling these guys on the sideline right now, we haven't beat these guys since 2006, which is 7 years, and the winner of this game is going to get a bye going into the tournament, and you have to think that the team that wins the SLC tournament is going to come in with a 3 seed in the national tournament. They're probably going to get 3 teams, but that seed is very, very important. I know Chapman last season, I had a conversation with Coach Hartley, the loss to Arizona State in the championship of the SLC tournament cost them 3 or 4 seeds, and they had to come in and face a tough Oregon team. And so these games are very important in the seeding going into South Carolina.
Yeah, definitely. And not only that, but this is, these teams, you play them every year. They are conference rivals. And, these are the teams you want to beat the most. So you definitely want to bring out your best. And Santa Barbara is looking to do that. And definitely CJ right here picking up the ball on the sideline. He's going to be looking to have a big night for himself and lead his guys.
And that's what you need out of your senior leaders, your senior captains out there leading by example. And he's doing a great job so far with 2 goals and a couple big ground balls.
Offsides call there.
And if you're Coach Allen, you don't want to see that coming out of a timeout. Let's see another timeout. See what the call is here.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. We got an offside call.
Guys, little things, all right? Relax and do what we do, okay? Recognize where it is on slide. If we throw the ball back to the goalie, we don't just sprint over the line, all right? We stretch over here first, okay? Look away from it first, and then we'll come back to the
And there's Coach Allen talking about the little things, and you have to think that he's talking about that offsides call that went against them. I mean, coming out of a timeout, there's no excuse to have a turnover like that. And going to take some time here to answer a couple of, or give a couple of shout-outs. There's OSC peace sign tuning in from Baltimore, Maryland. So thanks for tuning in, as well as Brian Martin, one of the big fans of the Lacrosse Network. So shout out to you, Brian, and Ministry of Lacrosse. So definitely keep the comments, questions, anything you want to know coming, both on the comments feed and again on Twitter to me at CMarshallTLN. Back to the action here. Chapman with the ball. 2:30 to go in the first quarter. You have to think they'd want to go out there and try and tie this game up. It's Caressel. Second unit in for the Panthers. Simo down to Welch. 2:14. Welch coming around the corner, takes the shot. Big save by Carlson. Able to eat that up. Here's Nevitt. And great ride by Welch, able to pick that pass off. Looking into Ancarlo, nice handle. Coming across, takes the shot. And Herman can't get that one on the cage. Herman able to sneak in there on offense, one of the defensive substitutes for the Panthers. And had a big opportunity to score a goal there, but definitely not a player who's known for his scoring with only 3 goals on the season. 90 seconds to go in the first quarter. Andrews cuts across, finds Williams, trying to get his hands free. Caressel. And the Gauchos really playing well on defense. There's Andrews getting inside, trying to get the shot off. And standing tall is Carlson as the Gauchos go back on offense.
Clearing the ball here, important both ways, but right now, especially after one failed clear, the Gauchos got to get a good clear here down to their offense.
It's Cooney looking across. Able to find Max Berry. And Berry, another one of those defensive middies. Being the position I played myself, I always like to make sure those guys get spotlighted, and he's definitely one of the unsung heroes for this Gauchos team. Really, really solid play in the clearing and defensive game for that short stick, and it's super important for these teams to have solid players at those positions, even with the new rules.
Yeah, good teams always have those role players that know their role, and they do it really, really well.
Pella moves the ball down. Back inside, back up to Jacobs. There's Buca. 20 seconds to go. Going to have to get something off pretty quickly. There's a quick double. Buca takes the shot. Nielsen with the reaction save, and that's a great save. Able to move the ball up. Finds Laviola. Laviola takes one. 9 seconds to go. Going to have to get something off pretty quickly. Moves it to Ancarlo. Ancarlo to Andrews. 4 seconds to go. Back to Cruteau. Cruteau takes the shot, and that one just off the mark to end the quarter, as Chapman would have loved to get that goal from Cruteau. And Cruteau not ashamed to shoot the ball. I know he had 2 in South Carolina against BYU last year, but exciting into the quarter as Santa Barbara holds on to the lead 3-2 here at Ernie Chapman Stadium in this matchup in the SLC Game of the Week live on the Lacrosse Network. And again, keep your questions, comments coming. I'm here with Easton's Henry Fitzpatrick, and we'd love to hear from you. We always love to hear from the fans and to hear what you think about the game, how we can make the game better, and what you guys are doing and where you guys are watching from. So thanks for tuning in again. This is the SLC Game of the Week live on the Lacrosse Network. I'm here with Henry, Easton Lacrosse. And what are some of the keys to the game for the Panthers going into the second quarter?
Well, I think for both teams, for me, it's going back to just finishing. A lot of they're going to create their shots, but it's executing and how, what's your shooting percentage going to be? How many are you going to get by the goalie? So I'm looking at Chapman and I'm looking at UCSB to how many shots they can finish. Already, we just saw Santa Barbara their last couple possessions. They got some shots, but they probably could have passed up those shots for a little better opportunities, drawing doubles and maybe forcing a shot where 2 more passes could have got you a better look. So I'm going to continue to look for see which teams are finishing the ball. And then also execution-wise, just in the clearing, we've seen a couple turnovers on the clears and on the rides. So if you get a save, and you got to take your time and be patient and get the ball down to your offense, because riding, we almost saw it down here. Chapman was almost able to turn a turnover into a goal. So clear, execution for both teams it's going to go a long way.
Well, and some of the things that I've really been noticing, especially from the Gauchos, is how organized they are on defense. Their help defense is great, their doubles are great, their second slides are really good, and Chapman's really having to work hard on the offensive end to get any opportunities going. I mean, what can Chapman do to cut through this defense?
Well, they have gotten a couple looks. They're not getting anything on their initial dodges because they're doubling early if they need to. So they've done a good job going strong side, weak side, getting the ball over the backside and getting those secondary dodges. And you saw Timmy from X. He's created a couple shots, had a goal. You saw him sneak around the crease here trying to attack the goal. So he'll continue to probe and try and get into the defense, and they need to do it with secondary dodges. So we've seen a little bit of it, and I think they'll in the second quarter here, their offense will look to do some more of the same.
And right back to the action as Herman gets the ground ball, and Chapman really doing a good job at the face-off X. It's driver primarily for the Panthers. And there's a game that I always like to reference when it comes to that. Hap Knowles with the low-to-low rip. What a fantastic goal. Gets the feed from Simo, the pole. Really good with his stick, as you can see from that goal. But what a fantastic goal, tying the game up just 24 seconds into the second quarter.
That was smooth. You don't often see a pole hiding in between 4 defenders, and the offense, the short stick, floats him a little pass in there. He handles it and puts it in the back of the net. That's a nice little play there, and that'll get the crowd and the team fired up.
And a good crowd here at Ernie Chapman Stadium. the students at Chapman always fans of the game. It's one of the hardest places to play. Not nearly as hard as the pit in Santa Barbara, where the fans get pretty rowdy, but definitely always a good crowd here for these night games especially. And there's a face-off win for the Gauchos. Carlson's going to bring the ball up. Nice look inside. There's Barry in great position to get that ball. Bowles moves it to Morgan. 14 minutes to go. Back up to Bowles. Walsh. Looks like they're able to get the pull back onto Jacobs. See if they can slow him down a little bit again with already 2 goals in this game from the senior captain, Jacobs. A lot of fans for Jacobs here at the game, making the trip south from Santa Barbara. Back to Jacobs, working on Croteau. Walsh. Nice look inside. Can't get his hands free. Good help defense. Back to Jacobs. Walsh again trying to get by his man. Back up to Jacobs, top center, 13-20. Tilbury.
A little 2-2-2 here for Santa Barbara.
And, you know, I know I've said it before, but I'm really impressed with defense from both of these teams. I mean, there's very talented offensive players for both the Gauchos and the Panthers, and the defense has been playing so well they haven't been able to get any really good looks. It's Jacobs again. Moves it to Walsh. Walsh trying to spin. Quick double from Levac. And he heard the footsteps coming and throws that ball away. I mean, you'd really like to think that Bolts could do a little better with that pass. But the pressure defense really starting to take its toll on these players.
Yeah, he did a nice job drawing that double team, and he just kind of squeezed that pass off a little tight. But if he delivers that, he's done a good job. He's got to get that pass in there.
And Simo bringing the ball up, gets it to Welch. And back over to Timmy Andrews, 12:20 to go in the first half. Score tied at 3. And this has been a fantastic game so far. Oh, and Nancy Grubin tuning in, commenting on the YouTube feed. Mother of 2 Chapman Panther alums, tuning in from Golden, Colorado. So always happy to see that you're tuning in and still enjoying the games. And definitely keep your questions, comments, anything you got coming. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll be announcing the winner of our contest for free head at some point in the game, too. It's Caressel working from behind. Get the switch off. Williams. Simo, 11:30 to go. Gets pushed in the back. I was going to be surprised to see the officials let that one go. Welch going to bring the ball in for the Panthers. And Simo and Williams. Williams working. Gets his hands free. Probably not the shot he was looking for, but if they're not sliding to you, why not? Cressel takes a shot, and that one off the pipe. That one's going to stay in. Cressel able to corral it right into the double team, loses the handle, and Carlo is there to pick it up. And then Carlo gets away with one there as he's running up the back of Cooney. Simo by his man, moves it to Williams. Williams moving the ball quickly down to Caressel, inside to Andrews, and again with the help defense. What a goal! Andrews buries it off stick high, no look, and that's why he's the player to watch. That was an unbelievable finish.
Yeah, that's just a great play from an individual who just stuck one. Got his guy, set up his defender up, used him as a little bit of a screen, and stuck it in the top right far side corner. But the unforced errors are kind of stacking up here for Santa Barbara. You saw that push in the back that led to that goal, turnover on the other end. So they need to be careful here because their unforced errors are mounting.
And that's a real heads-up play with the Gaucho defenseman, but Andrews able to come up with the ground ball. But you could see reaching across was a body and able to keep the ball on the outside of the box, off the face-off, but Andrews in the right place at the right time. able to pick that one off with 10:20 to go in the first half. It's Welch up to Helmich. And Herman's still on the field for the Panthers, 7 through the midfield, as Rafter's going to come on the offensive side. I definitely love the tweets and comments coming in. We'll definitely get some of those going at the next break. But again, thank you for your interaction. Welch looking for Andrews. 9:50 to go in the first half. Rafter and Helmich. Helmich has a shorty. The Gauchos opting to pull Rafter, who is probably a little bit more dangerous on the dodge. Andrews. Nice look across to Rafter on the skip. Over to Helmich. 9:30. Helmich takes the shot. That one hits one of the defensemen, pops out, and right back on the fast break. Here comes Tilbury. Moves to Samuel, and the shot inside, and that's Barry on the shot.
All alone in front, you got to bury that.
Exactly. That would have been his second goal on the season. 9 minutes to go. Gauchos back on offense. Buca with the ball. Moves to Bowles, back to Buca. Over to Jacobs. Jacobs again drawing the pull. Been seeing a lot of Croteau on the defensive end from the Panthers. Takes the shot, another save by Nielsen. Nielsen's got to get back in his cage as Morgan brings the ball in. And Morgan's the kind of guy that'll get free on those and score in the empty net. Walsh gets his hands free, quick double. Takes the hit, look inside, what a save. And that's a fantastic look coming from behind the goal from the Gauchos, and an even better save coming from Nielsen. Those goals on the doorstep are goals that you have to score.
Yeah, that was a great offense and a better save.
8 minutes to go, Rafter with the ball. Waiting to get Croteau off. And Croteau coming back on the offensive side. And like I said, definitely not afraid to shoot. We saw Hap Knowles score a goal on the last possession for the Panthers. So definitely not afraid to get their poles involved on the offensive end. Welch, 7:55 to go. Back up to Simo. And over to Helmich. Going to be our first look at Warren Brody coming out of the midfield, listed as an attackman. And he's one of those 4 guys that comes in. You got Zervis as well as Brody looking to take advantage of some of those shorty matchups, both attackmen by trade running through the midfield. Rafter loses his footing. Fortunate not to. Oh, and there it is right there. You see the flag. That's going to be for a trip. See what the officials have to say about it.
It looked like it could be incidental, but the refs called it.
Trip.
And there you hear it straight from the mouth of the officials. It's going to be a trip, and that's like Henry said, it's incidental, but it's one of those calls that they almost always make. And it's an unlucky call. It's not a cheap shot or anything, but it's like when you're going for a poke and you get one right in the chin. They're going to throw the flag regardless of your intent, and that's a real unfortunate break for the Gauchos. But this is going to be our first look at the extra man unit from either team, with 7:15 to go in the first half. Again, Chapman on top, 4-3. In this SLC Game of the Week matchup live on the Lacrosse Network. Zancarlo thinks about it, takes the shot, and pulled that one a little bit. Looked like Carlson was all over it. Back up to Helmich. Interesting to see Helmich not creeping down a little bit. I know he's their big shooter. It's Caressel. Back to Helmich. And 30 seconds left on this penalty. Takes the shot. Nice lift coming in. And more fantastic defense coming from Cooney. He's able to get in and disrupt that shot from Andrews. Helmich up top. Moves Dan Carlo. Carlo has Caressel. 10 seconds left on this penalty. And there's the big-time rip from Helmich. Looked like it might have gone off the leg of Cooney. 4 seconds left on the extra man. And we're back to even strength as Max Berry comes in through the midline. And looking across, and that one picked off. Ill-advised pass and a good play from Walsh as he goes on the break for the Gauchos. Helmich catches up with him, moves the ball. And back on offense, here's Buca. Or Samuel, rather. 5:50 to go in the first half.
Good man down there by Santa Barbara to get their offense a chance. They kept them to the outside, and 3 shots, but all missed the target.
That's one of those things you have to think about if you're some of the defensemen. I know Helmich has a real cannon. You take one of those off the leg, I'd have a hard time stepping in front of it again. I can tell you that much. It's like they like the matchup with Perella here, working on Williams. Back up to Buca. Buca dodging. Trying to get his hands free, working on Laviola. Moves the ball, here's Morgan. And that's one thing we've seen from Chapman all season. Levesque is nasty. And he pretty much shuts down the #1 guy almost every time. It looks like he's going to get called for the hold as the quick whistle starts back up.
Yeah, pretty good D there. Santa Barbara fortunate to get that back.
Jacobs working on Knowles.
Santa Barbara offense here getting a little stale. You know, it's been a lot of Jacobs.
What a move. Really lucky to get in front of that one is Nielsen. I mean, he shook him out of his jock there. That was what a move. I have to see that again. I mean, that's the first real shot of brilliance we've seen from either of these teams individually on offense. Laviola brings it in over to Carlo and down to Andrews. Just over 4 minutes to go in the first half. The team's trying to get something going, take a little bit of this momentum into the second half. Massimo, one of those players, deceptively fast. He's got a real long stride, so it doesn't look like he's moving very well. But definitely one of those players who could beat you on the dodge. And Andrews rather, cuts back. Up to Simo. Trying to get feet, gets Caressel. Able to get the matchup switch that they wanted. Caressel with the shorty. Nice cut inside, takes the shot. Probably didn't get as much on that as he wanted, but possession shot for the Panthers. Andrews cutting back behind the cage, working on Cooney. And Cooney's been doing a really good job, despite the stat line that Andrews has, keeping a lid on his game. Williams cutting inside, quick double again. Nice skip pass. That's the only way you're going to be able to beat this defense. Simo can't get free. Back down to Welch. And, I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm extremely impressed with the defense that I've seen out of the Gauchos so far tonight. I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen a stall warning called yet. Both of these teams working the ball a lot more than a lot of the other teams I've seen this season in the MCLA, or even at the NCAA level. Nice look across, looking for Williams. Kind of a forced pass, couldn't get a stick on it, and that's a great hustle play. I think that one's going to stay with the Panthers.
That's an awesome play there by 34, getting his team another possession.
And that's what you see. I mean, that's what you need out of your seniors. I mean, Williams a senior, Jacobs a senior, both those guys selling out on that play. Williams getting the better on this go-around, but don't think that's going to deter Jacobs from selling out again on the next play.
Yeah, let's see if they can turn that into a goal here.
And you have to like this matchup if you're the Panthers. Got Jacobs, the shorty, working on Andrews. Nice switch. And Carlo takes the shot, and that one just off the mark. And it looks like it's going to go back to the Gauchos. And Andrews looks like he might have been a little shaken up on that play, diving. But that's a big backup coming from Dan Nevitt, the senior defenseman. And another big play coming out of the seniors. Like Coach Allen wants to talk it over. Let's see what he has to say.
Guys, hey!
Bring it.
Yeah, hey, give me Mark with those guys. listen, we're trying to get to Greyhound number 1, all right? If you get a little confused, call your spots. If Barry winds up in the corner, so fucking what, guys?
Yeah.
So what? All right? Call your spots. Let's get in it.
Guys, and if we have to pass somebody, they're carrying all around the formation, and we're still running with them, which is why we ended up screwed up there, all right? We can pass those. If a guy's cutting into the crease, get a stick on him, get Cooney over to him, backside help in, and we're fine, all right? But they're not getting anything. Did you notice how far out those shots were? They're not getting anything on the inside if we get into the defense and run it right, all right?
Boys, make sure if you're on the backside wing, you're looking to help.
And you can definitely see what Coach Allen is talking about. They're able to get some of those hands free because they're not switching through the midfield, getting hung up on each other, and some of those off-ball screens that Chapman's running through the middle of the crease. And, I mean, really heads-up play, trying to get these guys to throw some sticks on them, slow them down a little bit, and get those switches going.
Yeah, as you alluded to earlier, the Gauchos defense has really kept them in the game this second quarter. Chapman's had some good opportunities, but they've kept them to the outside, like you said, on that man up. And you know, for me, the Gauchos offense, we know about the stud CJ, but where else are you going to get some offense from? Some guys got to step up. You saw the nice move down here, but he wasn't able to finish. And it's kind of been like that on offense for them. They've created some shots, but haven't been able to finish as much. So their offense, where's it going to come from besides CJ? And on defense, you know, they got to continue to pack it in and continue to give their offense a chance to get back in it.
And take some time to answer a couple tweets here. One coming from Connor McKeon, who says the SLC is arguably the best division in the MCLA, which is hard to argue with. I mean, it's hard to think that there's a league better than the RMLC with Colorado State, and BYU with the way they're playing. But if the SLC is second, it's a close second with a lot of really talented teams. So definitely keep those questions, comments going. And this one from Steve Rollins, mic'd up coaches. Is this ESPN? Some might say it's better.
Some good insights.
But definitely thanks for your tweets, comments, questions. And that's going to be offsides going against the Gauchos. And those more of the little things that Coach Allen was just talking about. And able to get the timeout there to stop the quick whistle on the fast break is Coach Allen.
Yeah, we might need to censor this if we cut to him right now because he just went with the back-to-back timeout.
And that's the second time we've seen this in this game. So Coach Allen probably not happy about that one. Probably a better time to take a few more of these questions from Twitter. Again, send them our way at Easton_lacrosse and at CMarshallTLN. And this one from Timmy Mahaney, who says that Carson Barton is the best player in the MCLA, and the actually current MCLA Player of the Month is the Grand Canyon Attackman, and he's solid. He's a really, really good player. One of the holdouts from when they moved from NCAA Division II to MCLA Division II and now to Division I at the MCLA level, but the kid can play, and I'm excited to see him in South Carolina because I think that they're gonna get an at-large bid, which would put 4 teams from the SLC in the tournament. But definitely keep the questions, comments coming. We love to hear from you. And Shawnee Lacrosse, absolutely. And Chapman going back out with their first unit with Zervis. Again, one of those two-way attackmen coming out of the midfield. And what a handle from Andrews, able to keep that one in play. Brody out on the offensive side at the attack, giving Welch a rest for the Panthers. Brody had a huge season last year as a freshman before hurting his ankle, and was expected to come in and be the number 3 attackman. But Welch really coming in well, able to steal that spot from him. Look inside. There's Rafter from way outside. That one off the lid. And fortunate spin for the Panthers with 1 minute to go in the first half. As Chapman's going to retain possession. There's the shot, eaten up by Carlson. Right into the break. Here's Walsh. 55 seconds to go. Again, Chapman holding on to the 1-goal lead. Max Berry, that one off the stick of one of the Chapman players. Berry still fighting for it. Rafter able to pick it up. And Rafter's off to the races. Has a fast break. Has Herman. Herman gets inside, wants to take the shot, but opts to pull it back out again. One of those players that you don't normally see on the offensive end. Got a little gun shy there. You have to think that he's going to play that one over again in his head.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of those on each team, guys that aren't used to shooting the ball there on offense, and little gun shy, but gotta practice that in practice. When you get in the game, you're able to bury it.
Zervis with the shorty. Going to work from down low. Nice switch. It's Rafter from way outside. Looking inside. Finds Zervis. Zervis with a shot, low to high rip, and there's the goal with 2 seconds to go. And that is a huge goal, putting the Chapman Panthers up by 2 right at the end of the half.
Yeah, Timmy Andrews, been really impressed with him. He is shifty, and he's got vision, and you saw right there he had a shot, but he also knew that he had a couple seconds. He dumped that down to a guy who got a better shot. So definitely he in the first half has been the big-time performer on either side. Timmy Andrews, 2 goals, a couple assists, 1 or 2 assists at least. Big half for him.
And that's going to do it for the first half as Chapman scores the goal with 2 seconds left. Again, fantastic goal. As we're going to go into the half here, you know Coach Allen's going to have something to tell these kids. And it's exciting to see this kind of game live on the Lacrosse Network. And you're going to have to stay tuned to see all of the fantastic action here in the second half live from Ernie Chapman Stadium. And again, please send us your tweets, comments, questions, anything you got. We'll get to as many of the comments as we can. We love to hear from you. Stay tuned for some great lacrosse action in the second half, and we'll be right back.
TLN SMS alerts are the best way to stay up to date with the latest videos from the Lacrosse Network. Be the first to know about all of our live games, giveaways, and videos by getting TLN alerts straight to your phone. To sign up, just click the phone icon in the top right corner of our channel and input your mobile phone number. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Network for the best in lacrosse content.
Honey, you do me wrong, but still I'm crazy.
I mean, are we kidding me right now? Do you really think that you being on a phone and not listening to me is going to help you?
No, sir.
Welcome back to Ernie Chapman Stadium. I'm here with Easton Lacrosse's Henry Fitzpatrick. I'm Chris Marshall. You're watching live on the Lacrosse Network. Here with Ted back here as well, enjoying the festivities here on a beautiful California night. And I know Chapman is on top of the Gauchos, 5-3 from the first half. Fantastic play from both of our players to watch. And what should we look for in the second half?
More of the same, I think. Really impressed with Timmy from Chapman. He's kind of pacing their offense, and I've been impressed with their offense. They're creating good looks. They've buried, obviously, 2 more than UCSB has. So I look for their offense to keep it up. And for Santa Barbara, I'm looking for where's their offense coming from. You know, they got a little off track there in the second quarter. CJ, obviously Chapman's focusing on him. So who else is going to step up? And when they did step up, they didn't bury their chances. So Are they going to be able to bury those chances? And then continue to take care of the ball, unforced turnovers. If one team continues to do that, they could find themselves in trouble.
Well, I know both of these teams. We had a question coming in from Flathead Lacrosse about what these two teams are playing for, and it's for the number 1 seed in the SLC North, which comes with a bye in the SLC tournament starting in 2 weeks, which is a big deal for both of these teams. Coming off a rest day, able to get into the tournament without having to worry about anything. So definitely thanks for that tweet. And both of these teams in the top 10. I mean, why don't we take a look at the top 10 to see what we're working with here? Chapman at number 4, UCSB at number 6. Both teams lost very close games at Colorado State, both in overtime, and both to Colorado. I know Chapman lost to Colorado in a snow game, which is something that I haven't seen before. Coming
Got to
from
pull out the orange balls for those.
It was pretty spectacular. If you haven't seen the highlights from it on the little club ball extra, definitely be sure to check that out. But I know Colorado State just came out and beat Colorado 8-3, which is a big victory from them. Something I definitely didn't see coming. But there's going to be some really, really solid matchups coming up around conference tournament time that I'm really excited to see in both the SLC and the RMLC. Focusing more on the SLC, there's really 4 teams to watch. You've got Chapman, Arizona State, and UCSB, all top 6 teams. Arizona State coming in at number 3. Arizona State actually just coming off a overtime loss to Grand Canyon, who's the 4th team that's in the mix. And right now, with the way that Grand Canyon and Carson Barton are playing, it's anybody's game. I mean, you can tell how evenly matched these teams are. It'll be interesting to see, since I know that the Gauchos are a little thin at the midfield position, how they can get some offense going in the second half. I mean, they've got good guys on the offensive side, Morgan, Buca, and they're really going to have to start contributing because Jacobs has really been carrying this team so far, along with their defense, who's been playing fantastically well.
Yeah, and those 3 guys in the midfield are running a lot, so it'll be interesting to see if they start to wear down or if they're able to keep going.
And back to the action here, beginning of the second half. That ball picked up. There's Jacobs again with the ground ball, getting dirty in the mix, and has the shorty. Both teams able to get their subs on with good time, not able to force any mismatches, is I think was what Santa Barbara was looking to do. And got a tweet coming in from Navilax45 tuning in from Japan. So that's pretty cool. I think it's tomorrow there. So thanks for tuning in on your Sunday morning. Jacobs taking it out, 35 seconds gone in the third quarter. Moves it back to Walsh. And Jacobs working on Hap Knowles. And it's been a tough night for him on a one-on-one defensive matchup standpoint. He's working against Croteau and against Knowles, who are both all-league caliber players. Knowles an All-American from a year ago. Walsh coming inside, takes a hit in the chest, pulls up a little bit. On that one was Zach Dutra, which you don't see very often. But good play, and I think that maybe that one just a little bit offside, saw the footsteps coming, and Chapman able to get the ball back. Slovak bringing it in. Crossfield pass to Herman. Herman steps across, no problem. 13:45 to go in the third quarter. Chapman on top by 2. Welch moving it to Andrews. Back to Ann Carlo. And Chapman back to their first line. Aside from Herman, who's staying on, look for him to try and get some separation. Looks like they're going to keep Walsh on defense. You see that a lot of the Chapman players. You get Herman, you get Croteau, and Knowles stay on the offensive side a lot longer than you'd expect those kind of players to do. because they want to try and catch their defensive player off guard if he's going to try and make the sub with them. Helmich back to Rafter, 13 minutes to go in third. Chapman still on top by 2 after that late goal with 2 seconds to go at the end of the first half, second quarter. Andrews looking to feed. Zervis, Helmich, and back to Rafter. Takes the shot. That one just off the mark. It looked like Carlson was all over that one from Welch. Chapman just looking to get a shot off. Andrews coming through. And you can hear the fans pretty fired up. Coming from both Chapman and Santa Barbara. And trying to get that one across with a flip pass. Picked off by Walsh, and Walsh is off to the races. And he's got a lot of pace as they're in the fast break. Rafter able to come back and break up the break as they go back into their offense. Max Berry takes a look up to Morgan. And Morgan, again, very dangerous in the one-on-one unsettled game.
Nice wheels from Walsh clearing that ball. He took off.
And you see that it's a real heads-up play coming from Rafter. Not following his man, but going to that top left player to try and break up the fast break. Coming around, X takes a shot, and there's Buca. And that one, a fortunate save from Nielsen. He was in good position for that one, and that one just bounced right into his stick, cheated low, got the bounce. Tough break for the Gauchos on that shot.
Yeah, pretty good look there. Didn't have a ton of angle, but he did shoot high to low, and goalie was able to make a pretty solid save there.
And Rafter gets into the box, moves it down to Brody. Back over to Andrews. Chapman going to their second line, midfield right now. And not a whole lot of drop-off. The second line actually looking as good, if not better, than the first line so far tonight. And that's something that I know that Coach Hartley has talked about is balance in his top 5 attackmen and on the midfield between those first 2 lines. And that's something you're going to need going late into the season.
Yeah, you can see it with Chapman. They just keep rolling guys out, where Santa Barbara keeps rolling out that top line every time, and it really pays off as we get deeper into the second half.
As Caressel moves it up to Williams. 10:45 to go in the third. And Williams, a strong kid, looks like he might have the matchup he wants here, going up against Buca. Buca giving up probably 20 pounds and a couple inches. There's Caressel. It's to Welch, and Welch has a shorty. Again, Buca. Welch cuts back, gets the quick double, finds Brody. Brody able to cut inside, takes the shot, and what a goal. And that's just a real heads-up play, able to fight through the check on the player and bury the goal inside tight. And if you're Conrad Carlson, that's on the pole.
That's a great move. That's a great play by Brody. He caught it on the left wing, two-handed. He was strong with 2 hands on his stick. And then he wasn't even so much of a hitch, just a little bit of a stutter to get the defenseman to come at him. And he was just strong on his stick, and he got to the middle of the field and buried it. Great heads-up play, though, for those players out there watching. When you catch it out there on that wing, don't settle for that shot. Throw a little hitch, throw a little stutter, and you can get to the middle of the field and increase your chances of scoring. That was an awesome play.
Definitely, and that's something you can tell from the offensive sets from Chapman. They're able to get those mismatches. They had Welch with the shorty working on Buca at X. They had to go to the quick double, so he didn't get around and score the goal. And Brody is able to get the ball, another attackman, and fight through that slide on the crease. I mean, really solid play from Chapman on the offensive side, extending their lead to 3, the largest of the game for either team.
Yeah, someone's got to make a play here for UCSB because it's been slipping now for a little while. They've been able to keep it close, but it's time for someone, CJ or someone else, to step up.
And that's a big win coming from the face-off X. That's Taylor Epp. And ball down, able to pick that ground ball up. That's Mainthau. It's a body back to Carlson. Just under 10 minutes to go in the third. And picked up by Herman. It's like Carlson felt the pressure a little bit. Herman's got a lane. Takes the rip. And that one just off the mark.
There he is. That's his second opportunity in the game to bury one, and a little gun shy down there.
A little jumpy. I mean, if he just would have put his head down and gone straight to the cage, he could have got in tight inside of 7 yards and gotten a really solid effort but kind of pulled it out, looked a little
yeah, both times he actually
out of place.
Both times he's gotten his shot, he has stopped his feet and gone for the rip. So that's keep your feet moving, keep moving to the cage, and then you can either dish it or finish it on the run.
Yeah, I see a lot of myself in him out there on the field.
Getting a little excited out there looking for that goal.
And just over 9 minutes to go. And again, thanks to everyone for tuning in. We love to have you join us here on Saturday night at Ernie Chapman Stadium, live on the Lacrosse Network. Definitely send your tweets, comments, questions, anything you got to us at CMarshallTLN and at Easton_Lacrosse.
Yeah, I'm getting shut out here on Twitter, so if you want to know anything about Easton Lacrosse, or feel free to send us a tweet and I can fill you guys in.
Yeah, and I know Sweet Gear Samir is typing in the answers to the comments, so if you got any questions for him, feel free to fire away as well. And LMU takes out a big-time stop from Welch. Looking inside, can't quite get it. That one off the shin of Andrews, almost goes in. But what I was saying, LMU able to take down UNLV, and I think that puts them in the 3 spot in the SLC North that UNLV had a hold on. And Courteau able to pick up the ground ball, and UCSB is starting to look tired.
Yeah, we've gotten a little sloppy here both ways. A few turnovers, more so for UCSB, but it's critical time of the game for the Gauchos to buckle down here and take care of the ball first and foremost.
Raptor bringing the ball in, just under 8 minutes to go. And a shout out to the Barrises, who are tuning in from Oswego, Lake Oswego, Oregon. More parents of another former Chapman player, Nate Barris, good friend of mine and a real solid defenseman. So thanks for tuning in. It's Rafter looking for Zervis, and it looked to me like that one got tipped, but he's got a better angle on it than I do, and the ball's going to go back to the Gauchos with 7.5 minutes to go in the third. And like you said, they have to get something going on offense. Give their defense a little bit of a break, try and get a longer possession, and use some of those matchups to their advantage. They've been able to get Jacobs with a shorty on more than one occasion. That's a good switch by Chapman, getting Knowles on him. Going to have to run some picks through the crease, see if they can get the matchup they're looking for. If they can get Jacobs or Morgan with a shorty, I like those matchups.
Yeah, in their first 3 possessions of the game, they were spread. They were giving their Dodgers space, and their motion was good, and they just need to get back to that. They started off the game well, and we see them here in an open set now, so this is good. Get the chance to spin the ball, let everyone settle down a little bit, and then go to work.
Spuka moves it to Walsh. Walsh gets by his man. Levesque with the quick switch. They've got to move the ball a little faster than that. There's Brody looking to get it, and that's great defense from the Gauchos. That's Nevitt. Or a body, sorry, able to get that ground ball, and that's a really heads-up play. Brody let it go through his legs. It looked like it might have rolled through, but able to kick into himself and keep the ball on the offensive side for the Gauchos. Huge play. Looking inside, and that's a great look. Can't quite get it to Samuel, but going to get the ball on the procedure. Quick whistle, and that's a real heads-up play, taking advantage. And there's Morgan again, garbage man, taking advantage of those unsettled situations, buries the shot, and that's a really heads-up play from a very well-coached team.
Well, there you go. They get a little break finally, and off the quick restart, find themselves all alone in front, and he's able to bury it. There was an interference call there, and that was why we had the restart, but good break for the Gauchos, and they finally bury one. Going back to the play by the defenseman up here at midline to get that ground ball was a big play.
Yeah, and that update on the LMU UNLV game actually coming from Jack Coyne, and that does lock up the number 3 seed. Here's Herman again bringing it in, and right into the fast break. Very dangerous are the Panthers, and Brody trying to pick it up after the shot from Andrews. He's going to get it, gets a push in the back, and he's going to get that. You're going to get that call every time if you go down.
Yeah, he had the Oscar-worthy performance there.
Yeah, it's a dive, but you're going to get it.
You see, 99% of the time people are getting it.
But again, thanks Jack Coyne for that update. As LMU now in the playoffs with the 3 seed will get the winner of the ASU U of A game. Williams. To Simo, back down to Andrews. Andrews has Barry now, and that's the matchup you like, as you see Andrews move up top. Caressel trying to corral the ball, can't get it. Barry able to kick it out and up to Cooney. Cooney on the run, and Caressel's chasing him down. Cooney wisely pulls the ball back out, gets it to Barry as the Gauchos are back on offense. And that's a good defensive stand from the Gauchos, and it's exactly what they need. Get a quick stop and get the ball back on the offensive side. Just 2 goals in the hole right now with plenty of time to go, nearly 20 minutes of game time. Buca working from up top has Walsh. And you see Simo coming back as the Panthers are able to sub through the midline and get in front of the Gauchos. A heads-up switch, getting Jacobs again with the pole. And the Gauchos have got to do something to get him free as Buca cuts down the lane, finds Morgan. Back to Samuel and up to Jacobs, and Jacobs still working on that pole. Gets it to Buca, and Buca has to get his hands free. Takes the shot. Not the angle he was probably looking for. As the ball goes straight up, Buca able to get inside, and what a goal! No good. I mean, that would have been one of the goals of the season if he was able to pick that one and bury it in with a quick stick. But stepping in the crease, and Chapman gets the ball back. And you can hear the Gaucho fans in the stands here did not like that call. It's tough to tell from here, but it was very close. 3:40 to go in the third quarter. Chapman still on top by 2 goals. But after the firepower we saw in the first quarter, only 4 goals total from both teams. After that first quarter, 5 goals rather, 3-2 lead for the Gauchos at the end of 1. Here's Zervis. Finds Andrews. Over to Brody. Brody has a look inside for Helmich. And Helmich doesn't miss very many of those.
A little bit of a hook there on that shot. He missed about 15 feet to the left.
Andrews again moves it up to Rafter. Coach Hartley sticking with the first line midfield right now.
Yeah, he's a big shooter. I mean, he's probably got a fair amount of whip in that stick.
You know he does.
Again.
Nice look inside. Finds Zervis. Zervis just over the top. Looking inside for the skip pass. That one picked off by Cooney. Cooney moves up to Jacobs. Jacobs in the break has a shorty. Look inside. Pulls it back out. Still has the shorty working on Rafter. Looks like Croteau's going to call for the switch here. I kind of like to see them go to the cage there. That's not the Gauchos game, and I know Mike Allen's a very systematic offensive coach, but when you have the matchup, some of those times you just got to go take advantage of what you've been dealt there.
Yeah, certainly if the opportunity's there, it's almost like they're just waiting to get Buca, CJ, and Walsh on the field. These 3 guys are Clydesdales. They just run up and down the field the whole game.
Absolutely, and this is one of the first looks we've seen from Lorimore, the sophomore. Another one of the talented players. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more of him yet. Definitely another one of those crafty guys. Has the matchup here with the shorty. Look inside, can't get it off. That's good help defense. Looks like he might have taken one in the shin. It's fortunate no call for the Panthers. And I know from experience that feels awful. Herman again on the clear.
Chopping trees down there.
Moves it to Rafter. Chapman still sticking with that first line offense. Just over a minute to go in the third quarter. Chapman still holding on to the 2-goal lead. Chapman still yet to score in this quarter. But a lot of solid opportunities. Chapman going to the second line midfield. Here's Simo working from up top. 45 seconds to go in the third quarter. See where the matchup is there for the Panthers. 35 seconds. Kind of surprised we haven't seen a stall warning here. It's Andrews cutting back. Dangerous on the feed and the shot. Nice finds Brody. Brody takes the shot, and that one off the shaft of Body.
It looks like the defender might have got into his hands there. Another great play by Timmy setting that up with his quickness and drawing the double.
He's got Caressel with 9 seconds to go. He's going to have to do something pretty quickly. 6, 5, 3, way outside, not even going to get a shot off. And you've really got to do better than that to end the quarter. I know it's a it's an easy play to just, it's safe, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's a safe play for the Panthers, not getting the shot off there, not giving up the fast break. But with what they did at the end of the second quarter, you'd have to think that Coach Hartley would like them to do more with that.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't super aggressive there, and a good stop by the Gauchos. But for the most part, the Chapman offense, they're creating, and they're burying some shots. Down here on the other side for the Gauchos, they one thing I've noticed is they've been feeding the middle, and they've had some cutters open, but their feeds to these cutters or to open guys when they're on the move, these tough feeds that you have to be able to make under pressure, they're not making them. And the passes, they're really not that close. You saw one guy reach for a pass, another one where he completely missed it. So, they're creating these looks in their offense, but you really have to execute on those passes, and they're not hitting the guy in the stick. So that's critical.
That's definitely, and like I mentioned before, when Lorimore took the field, he's one of those guys who can be an impact player. He's just a sophomore. He's not a big guy, but he's very shifty. His game pretty similar to Morgan. So if they can get the match out, him working from X on the one-on-one, then I think that's got to be a good look for them.
Yep. I mean, and if I'm the coach, I'm telling the Gauchos that, hey, it's the fourth quarter. We got 15 minutes to go. We haven't played that well. And you look up at the scoreboard, it's only a 2-goal game. So it's a testament to their goalie and their defense that they're right here. And if they execute for 15 minutes, they could walk out of here with a W. Yeah,
and what he's telling these kids now is that all of the games that Chapman has lost this season, they've been in the lead in the fourth quarter. So it's this isn't strange territory for the Panthers, being in the lead going into the fourth quarter, and with how quickly the Gauchos were able to score goals at the beginning of the game, this is far from over.
Yep. I thought momentum could play a big role here tonight with a lot of emotions in a rivalry game. For the most part, one team hasn't been able to grasp that momentum and kind of ride it. So we'll see what happens in this 15 minutes.
And there's a big face-off win. Again, the ground ball with Jacobs. And definitely keep those questions, comments, anything you got coming to us at CMarshallTLN and at Easton_Lacrosse.
Yeah, definitely. Finally got a tweet in here from Shawnee Lacrosse asking, have any MLL teams purchased an Easton Lacrosse waiver towards being able to legally use Easton gear in the MLL?
That's a great question.
Good question. Yeah, they opened it up. We actually haven't. We only have a couple guys who, Brett Queener plays goalie for Hamilton. Matt Gibson plays attack for Long Island Lizards, the Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. Great player.
Yep, and a couple other guys. But, we haven't purchased a waiver, so you won't see them in the Easton gear. But outside of the MLL, you will see them repping the Easton. So it's a little unfortunate the way it's set up right now. But, outside of the MLL, they're repping their gear, our gear.
Yeah, and Gibson having himself a pretty good season in the NLL as well. I know if you've been watching the games on the Lacrosse Network, one of those highlight goals that he had, kind of the dive over the top, was one of the best goals I've ever seen.
Yeah, I tell him he's not allowed to score any goals that aren't top 10 worthy, so that's, it's a tough thing to live up to, but so far he's doing an all right job. He doesn't score much, but when he does, they're fun to look at.
And Santa Barbara, so far in the fourth quarter, controlling the pace. Getting a pretty good look from Buca just off the mark, and that's great help defense. Is a really solid look from behind, but Chapman just too quick on the help. And there's Hap Knowles using those wheels, able to cut back, moves the ball to Herman, and Herman is on the fast break with the Panthers. Looks inside, finds Welch. Welch off the pipe. And that one right back to the Gauchos. Really fortunate to not be down 3 after that possession.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a 2-goal swing here after that.
Back to Buca. And again, we're calling the same numbers for the Gauchos. I know you mentioned early in the third quarter they've been running these same guys all game. And you have to think some of them are getting tired because they're getting fresh legs on defense from the Panthers, who are playing out.
Yeah.
So it's tough to go both ways all game and have anything left at the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they obviously their conditioning is at a pretty high level, but it's just so hard to get to the fourth quarter and be effective and have that energy to drive the cage.
Here's Lorimore trying to get his hands free. He's going to have to take that shot before he gets stuck in. Laviola couldn't get that one picked up, and real heads-up play. That one coming in from Morgan, able to kick that ball out.
Pipe.
And another pipe, this one from the Gauchos, as Herman back on the break for the Panthers. Looks like he's going to go into the slow break here and give the Panthers a little bit of time. Heads-up play, able to not lose the ball in the end there as Lorimore comes in from behind and tries to take a couple swings at him.
Yeah, up and down here for a few possessions. Haven't had a goal yet, but lots of action, couple pipes.
And looks like Rick Burrell, looking at the Nike Inside Lacrosse Coaches Poll, has Chapman in 3 and UCSB at 5. So there's definitely these teams are some of the top teams in the country, no doubt.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was a save or another pipe, but it was a pretty good opportunity.
Yeah, it looked like that one went off the shaft of the defender, and that's something we've been seeing a lot of. I mean, these guys are keeping their sticks up. They're playing fundamental defense. They're sliding well. They're recovering well. If you play defense or you coach defense, watch how both these teams are doing it, especially the Gauchos, and that's how you're supposed to be doing it.
The Gauchos are hanging tough here. 11 minutes. They're only down 2. They've actually CJ has taken a couple shifts off, so I don't know if he's feeling something or if they're just trying to get him a couple breaks. Hopefully they're just getting him some breaks so he can come back strong. But if it's not CJ, who's it's going to be?
They've got guys who can do things individually. I mean, Buca, Morgan.
Yep.
I think Lorimore's a good player. It looks like they want to try and use the invert here, see if they can get something going. There's a skip pass. That one coming across. That's Samuel the freshman, trying to get his hands free. And some numbers we haven't called yet. Sieglin. Sieglin? As the Gauchos are trying to get something going. And you have to think this is one of those times where they're giving some of their first-line guys a little bit of a rest to see if they can come back strong at the end of the fourth quarter. Here, 10 minutes to go in the game, and come back strong and really use that rest to their advantage to see if they can go score some goals. And trying to do it all himself, that's Petrala.
Yeah, they were actually doing a good
Perala.
job there possessing the ball and getting some decent looks, but he forced it a little bit there.
And Chapman, again, subbing through the midfield, slowing the ball down a little bit, taking a little bit of the air out. And here's a question from Matt Wright. Wants to know about the success in the MCLA. Will they be going NCAA anytime soon? That's a good question. I know that the Chapman women win NCAA this year, Division III. And there's a good look inside to Zervis. Opts to pull it back out, can't get his hands free. Solid help defense again, coming across from a body. But, I think it makes sense for Santa Barbara. They're a team that's had a lot of success. They won back-to-back national championships in the early 2000s. And they're kind of perennial. They're usually good. Let's roll with that. And they've got Division I athletics for the rest of their school. So I definitely think in the mix with UCSB and a BYU and even an SC, even though they haven't had the same success at this level, could make the jump with a Colorado and a Colorado State.
Yeah, I think you'll definitely start. It's going to start happening. It'll take time, obviously. You can point to the Michigan example,
exactly,
where they moved a couple years ago. They've had a tough time. I think they've only won one game in 2 years, and I don't think they've won a game this year yet. So it'll take time. It'll continue to happen, but these schools are going to continue to get good players from all over the country, and it'll be an evolution. But the most recent case is Michigan, and they're getting a lot of recruits, but they're struggling at the same time. They're a good program, though. They're going to be up there in a couple of years.
And there's another shot going off one of the defensemen in the middle. Both of these teams really selling out on the defensive end, throwing their body in front of the ball. Walsh and Jacobs working on Croteau again with the pole. Chapman doing a really good job of making sure that he has the pole with him at all times.
Yeah, there's about a 0% chance he's going to get a short stick at this stage in the game.
There's Tilbury. Back to Walsh. Sorry, Buca. Here's Jacobs. Walsh. Buca. 7:30 to go. Buca by his man takes the shot, and that one just off the mark. Getting good looks are the Gauchos. Can't seem to keep them on cage, but those are going to start falling here if they continue to shoot. Jacobs switching sides. Now they're going to Morgan. Morgan looked like he was free there for a second, working on Dutra. Takes the shot, and that one, again, just over the cage. They're getting solid looks. That one from about 7 yards out on the turn shot. I mean, he's going to be able to, since he's so much shorter than Dutra, get his hands free on the low and get it right off Dutra's hip. And it's going to be a really hard shot to save if you're Nielsen. You see that coming.
Yeah, that was a nice little setup by them. I think they went to a little set piece, having an open set. Here's a good look.
And again, just missing their shots. That's Walsh, who had a great look.
Yeah, good offense here from Santa Barbara. They look a little more lively than they have the last couple of possessions.
I mean, you have to attribute that to Coach Allen giving his first-line boys a little bit of a rest.
I think so, yeah.
And what a move again inside from Buca. And again, that one coming off the body of one of the defensemen, as Helmich able to pick up the ground ball and move it back to Nickelman, who gets it to Dutra. 6:20 to go.
Yeah, I'd love to see. That's the second time we've seen that move, and he's gotten denied. I'd love to see a cutter on the backside cutting through and see if he can make that move and dish it off to someone wide open in front.
And there's Caressel wide open. There's another example of Chapman using the sub box to their advantage. And Caressel gets through. Another one of those guys that's got deceptive pace. As Chapman goes back into their set offense again with the second line, who has seen more than the first line so far tonight. So, I mean, you can tell that Coach Hartley isn't afraid to go with the line that has a hot hand. Simo working on Barry. Nice look inside. There's Welch with the fake. Almost gets free, but really good footwork again from the Gaucho defenseman. What a check. Straight across, gets the ball out of Williams' stick. Ball still down. Looks like they're going to get playing without a stick going against the Panthers, as C.J. Jacobs going to bring the ball in, take advantage of the quick whistle. Yep. Go up to Cooney. Pretty ambitious pass to a pole there. Was way choked up, but couldn't quite handle it. And laying a lot of lumber right now. Williams has got to get across. Almost got him, Samuel, the freshman. And you can tell Williams is hurting a little bit. Took one in the funny bone, looks like.
He's going to need an ice pack over there.
And loses his stick. Not very happy about taking all those checks. You can see Coach Hartley giving him an earful, throwing his stick. Again, just 4:44 to go in the game, and Chapman just going through the motions on their offense again, not taking any plays off here, and that's what you have to do. You have to play 60 minutes if you want to win these games against top competition. Andrews able to run the ball down. And a timeout for Chapman. And we'll take some time here to answer a couple more tweets. Got one from Jack Coyne coming in. Wants to know if I've made any of the cookies call yet tonight, which is my call for the yard sale check. And he says he's pretty disappointed in the lack of yard sales, and so am I. I love a good defensive check. You get a yard sale check coming from a rusty gate or a kayak or something.
A little ding dong.
Yeah, no, I might blow the speakers out of this thing.
Well, actually, that was our closest thing. That was a heck of a two-handed check, right? And he was holding his stick out in front of him, and he got right on the stick and dislodged the ball. No yard sale, but it was a takeaway check nonetheless.
Yeah, when you see, and Andrews is such a big kid too. I mean, if you can get in there and really get on his stick, it's a pretty impressive check. And we definitely want to take some time here to thank you all for tuning in, and also to announce our contest winner from a few weeks ago, winner of the free head. It's Brian Harney. Again, coming from one of our sponsors from a few weeks ago. So definitely, Brian Harney, send us a tweet, send us a message on Facebook, send a carrier pigeon. Any way you can get in touch with us, do so, because we've got a head coming your way from a contest from a couple weeks ago. So definitely, thanks for tuning in, and congratulations on winning that head. And it looks like we're just about ready to get back to the action. Again, Chapman maintaining possession. It'd be interesting to see what they come out in here, whether they're going to stick with the first line guys. They're going to go to the first line guys. The second line guys were out there when he called that timeout. See if they can get something going. This is the line with the big shooters on it. So definitely look for Rafter to try and facilitate some of the offense working against the pole. Going over the top, looking not to get a hold there. Rafter looking inside, looking for Andrews, can't find him. Helmich again pulls it out. There's somebody's open. Right there, here's Rafter. Looking inside, and just off the mark on a couple of these, you see Andrews, you see Welch looking to shoot just before they get the ball and can't quite handle it. There's Welch, and Barry looks gassed. And there's the shot.
No backup.
And it looked like there was a hold going on in the center as Zervis cuts across. Another getting pretty chippy out there. I mean, both these teams, I know this was it wasn't much of a rivalry when I started playing. I can tell you that much. Those are the 2 years that Santa Barbara won their national championships, 04-05. But this is always something that got really heated. Even when the games aren't close like they are tonight, the guys that play for both of these teams understand what the rivalry means from what they hear from the alumni, what they see from the fans. And this is a big game, both in terms of the rivalry and in terms of what's at stake. Just over 3 minutes to go. UCSB still down 2 goals in this relatively low-scoring game, especially for these team standards.
Yeah, they came out and put some more pressure on the Chapman offense with their defense and got a little more aggressive and were able to get a turnover.
Look across, here's Buca. Buca with a great look and a huge save from Nielsen. And Walsh able to get the ball back. Want to take another quick shot, right? And there's Jacobs with the goal, his third. Tasher hats C.J. Jacobs with a huge goal late in the fourth quarter, his third.
Yeah, big time. Great look over there from the ground ball. I don't know who that was on the far side, but he found Jacobs after the goalie had just stuffed that other look. So that was a great job by the Gauchos, and they're able to cut it to within 1 with 2:48. They're hanging around. I've been impressed with, they've made a lot of mistakes, but they're not going away, and they've hung tough.
Well, and that's something you see out of those senior guys who know. And there's the quick start. Driver able to win it to himself. Finds Ancarlo into Andrews. And that's a really fantastic defensive play. It's a save from Cooney, who's had himself a game tonight. Able to get back and stop Andrews from getting a shot off.
That was a nice play. I thought Andrews might face dodge to the inside, but he tried to go to the outside, and he was able to cut him off.
Laviola looking to feed somebody. Gets to Andrews. And back to Simo. Going back to that second line. Again, just up 2 goals. Caressel and Williams and Simo. And Caressel's is a real exciting player. One of those guys who can beat you one-on-one. And that's the thing that's scary about this Chapman squad is every one of those guys who's out on the field can hurt you. There's Ancarlo coming across and scores the goal, pushing the lead back to 2, and that's 2 goals in a minute, 1 for the Gauchos and 1 for the Panthers as they extend their lead back to 2 goals.
Great handle by number 1. He cut across. There you go, just like we were talking about UCSB not able to hit those cutters. He hits the cutter, he absorbed a check, and he buried it. Nice shot by him.
And that's a really solid play. You see Simo come across, recognize that he gets the slide, find Ancarlo. Ancarlo with the composure to get through the first check and bury that stick side high. A really, really good play all the way around. And there's the win for the Gauchos, able to cut across. And that's Bauer looking inside. Great handle by Morgan. That looked like it was thrown away to me, but able to get low very quickly and eat that up as Coach Allen wants to talk it over. And let's see if we can hear what he's saying in the huddle.
Guys, we got to understand the situation now that we want to try and get the pressure on the ball. When the pole gets the ball, we got to shut, okay? We're not letting them toss the ball around the horn defensively, okay? Guys, listen up. Offense here. Listen, offense. We are going to go Thunder 8, okay? Thunder 8. Keep moving the ball, okay? If you don't have it right away, that was a great freeze. Okay, if you don't have it right away, just keep it banging. Look for the backside wing. All right, Blaker, keep shooting those. Okay, guys, if we see zone, okay? If we see zone, we will go Zona right away, okay? So Thunder 8, okay? Or Zona. Let's make sure we're banging the ball quick. Don't be afraid to look inside against the zone if you see it, all right? Otherwise, Thunder 8, keep the ball hot. Listen for the next call. Guys, out of that, we'll go into 23 motion quickly, okay? So just keep moving the ball, keep moving through, all right? Here we go. Here we go. Let's go, boys. Here we go, boys. Let's go. Hey.
And you can tell it's Coach Allen keeps his composure on the sideline. And that's why you see some of these players, especially in leadership roles like C.J. Jacobs, are guys that have composure late. I mean, if you have a coach who has complete confidence in your ability to win games late, even when you're down, then it's contagious.
Yep, and he's calling out Thunder 8, so I'm guessing Buca right here is going to start with the ball and probably look for him to create something. Wouldn't be surprised if he was looking for Jacobs. And
yeah, we got one more tweet here asking about the best freshman in the SLC, and I mean you have to think that that Samuel for the Gauchos is in the mix. 37 points this season. We're having a really good year. And there's Jacobs, gets his hands free, gets a good look right over the shoulder of the defenseman, and Nielsen, big save out of the crease, almost gets back and in, and he does.
Yeah, he got in and out. There it was, Thunder 8 right to Jacobs, and a nice save. They get it back, though.
The quick whistle. Buca wants it.
Oh.
It looks like they're going to stop it.
Timeout. Why call timeout?
And that's a real heads-up play coming from Coach Hartley, able to call the timeout there. Pulling a little bit of a Mike Allen there, getting the timeout before the game starts again. We saw Coach Allen do that a couple times on turnovers, and that's a really, really heads-up timeout because you can see Morgan wants to move the ball very quickly and try and take advantage of those quick whistles, which they've been able to do, and they scored a goal. Morgan scored a goal earlier in the game on that same sort of situation.
Yep.
So it's definitely exciting to see some of the new rules that are in practice that are making the game more exciting. What are your thoughts about the new rules?
I mean, I like them. It speeds up the game, and you see exciting. We saw one down here where Santa Barbara got a goal. It was a little bit unlucky for Chapman, but they were able to capitalize on it. And so it's exciting. We haven't seen any stall warnings in here, and I actually haven't seen them as much as I thought I might just watching NCAA lacrosse and other MCLA games. But for the most part, I think it's been good. The sticks have been the stick rules have been they've been.
It's everyone seems to be able to function.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
there's no shortage of spectacular goals this season.
We still have our nifty stick handlers. So here we go, though. A minute left, and Santa Barbara's got to get one.
As Buca cuts in, and that's a great stand-up defense coming from Herman, who's had himself quite a game too. Moves the ball out. Here's Buca. Gets the ball down low. 53 seconds to go in the game. Jacobs back to Walsh, and they have to get a shot off here pretty quickly. Walsh able to cut through two defenders, takes the shot, and a huge save by Nielsen. And that's a big-time save. Jacobs gets in, knocks the ball loose. Gaucho's able to pick up the ball, and there's Knowles trying to get the ball, flips it to himself. A little bit of a hockey move there. 30 seconds to go, ball still down. You see Morgan getting in there, getting dirty. Ball still down, finally picked up by Chapman. As Chapman moving the ball up the field, what a move. Loses his footing, ball back, and Jacobs was right there. 13 seconds to go. Look inside, takes the shot, and the goal. What a fantastic finish. There's Bowles on the doorstep. Huge play from Jacobs. Finds Bowles on the goal, scores the goal. 10 seconds to go, cuts the lead to 1, and this game is not over.
Yeah, what a play by Jacobs. He makes literally a 40-yard pass on a rope, and the guy buries it. Now we got 10 seconds. You have to win this face-off, and you have to possess it and be able to go down and get a shot right off the bat. You're not going to be able to dilly-dally around here. You got to go straight to the cage. So hopefully he's able to win it to himself and attack right away.
Interesting matchup here. Helmich out to take his first face-off of the game, trying to flip it out. You have to think that they might have wanted to put Hap Knowles on that one. 5 seconds to go. Need to get a shot. Here's Buca trying to get free. 3 seconds. Moves the ball inside. Takes the shot.
Oh.
And it's no goal.
Wow.
No goal. That's right there. I can't. It didn't look like the ball went in the goal, but the horn had sounded, and that's the ball game. But you got your money's worth here tonight. What a finish!
I think he stuffed him right on the doorstep. The way 44 is reacting, he caught that ball cleanly, and he got a look off, and he was stuffed on the doorstop.
And that's the kind of game that's a real heartbreaker for the Gauchos. You come into Ernie Chapman Stadium and you play the Panthers straight up. They almost never lose here, and if you come in and play them like that, I'm disappointed that somebody had to lose tonight, because that was one of the most exciting games I've seen this season.
Yeah, that was a heck of a finish, and like you said, the coach, you can tell your kids, if you're on the UCSB side, that we battled hard. You know, we made some mistakes, but we hung in there, and we only lost by a goal. And if they look at the tape on Monday, they'll see that they had some opportunities. Just like I said, when you get those opportunities, you got to practice shooting, and that's why you do it every day in practice, because when you get them, you have to put them in the back of the net, and they'll look and see a couple that they possibly could have done that.
Yeah, and I mean, you see, it's both of these teams are so systematic in both their offense and their defense. You can tell how well coached they are.
Yeah.
And even the composure. I mean, we've joked a little bit about some of these kind of non-offensive players coming down and getting a little wide-eyed near the goal. But on a whole, both of these teams are built to move on into the playoffs. Especially Chapman, because they have the depth. But with the composure and the ability to take some of the air out of the ball, both of these teams are going to be dangerous, and I think they're both going to get a ticket to South Carolina.
Yeah, definitely. Both very impressed with both teams, and on each side. And Chapman, obviously hard fought. They were able to hang on right there at the end, but their offense really did. You know, with the way Timmy kind of controls things and makes things happen, and they got other guys too who are stepping up. And defensively were solid. So impressed with them. A good, hard-fought victory for them. And both teams obviously are going to move on to the playoffs. Could meet each other again. But good game, and Chapman edged them out by 1.
Yeah, and again, as always, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate all your viewership. Definitely be sure to tweet any comments, questions, anything you got to either of us at Easton_lacrosse for Henry, at CMarshallTLN for me, and at Lacrosse Network for TLN as a whole. We're definitely very happy to be here and to be able to bring you such a high level of MCLA lacrosse and the SLC Game of the Week. So definitely be sure to subscribe and tune in to some more great live action we have going on this weekend. Again, thank you to Henry coming at us from Easton Lacrosse. We're here at Ernie Chapman Stadium. I'm Chris Marshall, and as always, stay laxy.